Because if you don't have a close circle that will tell you that you're doing wrong, even though they know it will hurt you and you will get mad at them, it's very difficult for you to reflect on yourself, especially when you're too blinded by your own superiority, which is probably non-existent. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of LifeSnip. I'm wearing batik today. It's not Friday, but I haven't worn batik in a while. I used to wear batik every Friday because that's a thing we do in Indonesia. Normally schools or offices encourage people to wear batik on Fridays because it is our national pride. I do love batik as well, and yeah, it's a Wednesday. I can wear it anytime. Anyway, a few days ago I was going down memory lane because I was looking for this one piano performance I did in 2015. Was the last year that I had my piano lessons. I learned classical piano to a pretty high grade, and at that time I felt like my performance was pretty good. Though if I play it now, I'm sure without practicing, I can barely do the intro. But then I watched it and it was not as good as I remembered. There were so many notes missing and so many things that just could have been a lot better. And it's funny to think that at that time, I thought that was already my ultimate best, and when people criticize my playing or want to give input, I didn't really listen to them because I thought, nah, what I'm doing is already good. Now, this story, I think, resonates with a lot of other areas in my life, and I think I have what is called the superiority complex. Basically, someone who thinks they're better than everyone else. Someone else pointed it out. I did not realize it, but a good friend of mine said, I think you have a superiority complex. And I'm like, no. And then I reflected, right, you're probably right. It's not something I'm proud of. It's something I still constantly try to fight. Growing up, I had straight A's, so I felt smart on one hand. But even for things that I wasn't particularly good at, I felt like I was. For example, dancing. At one point, I thought I was a very good dancer. And then I was exposed to a lot more professional dancers. Like, for example, if we're looking at any K-pop band, and then I look at myself dance and I'm like, that ain't really dancing. I mean, I move. But but moving your body and dancing are two very different things. Okay, maybe dancing and piano playing is for me just a hobby. So like the superiority complex also affects parts of my life that affect other people as well. For example, during my bachelor's degree, I was at one point president of a student organization. At that time, I had my ambitions for the organization. I thought I channeled them well. One point, my core team just sat me down and said, okay, here, look, Gene. And they just basically told me the harsh truth of how other people in the organization see me, how I'm too forceful with my ideas, and how it looks like I'm demeaning other people, thinking that their part or their job is not as difficult as mine. That sucks, and I think that moment really slapped me, metaphorically. It hurt a lot to hear the truth, but I'm really grateful to this day that I had a really good core team who actually supported me and cared about me. Because if you don't have a close circle that will tell you that you're doing wrong, even though they know it will hurt you and you will get mad at them, then it's very difficult for you to reflect on yourself, especially when you're too blinded by your own superiority, which is probably non-existent. At that point, I did realize I had those flaws with my character. I tried changing like how I react to things. However, I still think I did a pretty good job in terms of everything else. Fast forward to today, 2 years later. I don't know how I felt like I was so good, because now looking back, I really don't think I was. There were so many things that I could have done better. But the good thing is, I realized that I had flaws, which means that I have now improved, or at least I'm open-minded enough to see that I was never perfect. So if you guys have a similar experience, if you guys think you have a superiority complex, you should admit it at least to yourself, or you don't even have to label it like that. But if you think you're better than others, or if you think there is no more room for you to improve, something's wrong with you, because you always have room to improve, and sometimes you need good people to tell you things that you don't like so that you can improve even more. Now, the first step of overcoming this is, one, realizing that you're not perfect. Yes, I think a majority of people have more problems with being insecure, but I think there are also times in everyone's lives that they feel too confident in something that they care too much about, or they feel that they're too good at. So that's the problem, because once you think that you've reached like maximum potential, that's when you stop growing, and that's when you start becoming very, very conceited. And that's not good. And number two, open up to the world, because the world is so big. You know, like how Two-Set always reacts to, yes, I'm a Two-Setter. They're professional classical violinists, and they make videos reacting to child prodigies playing the violin, and they always destroy their own self-esteem watching those videos. But it's just a thing where you see that there are so many people better than you out there in the world. You're not all that, you know? And I think the more you explore the world, you'll realize that there are people way better than you, and you will realize how you are so far from being top-notch level. In Indonesian, we have the term jago kandang, which means like you're the ace in your own cage. It's like big fish, small aquarium. I don't know if that's an English idiom. So it's like you are a big fish because your aquarium is still small, but once you are put into the sea or the ocean, you see so many fish that are bigger than you. But before you go to that ocean, you'll always feel like you're so good. So that's why you also have to step out of your comfort zone, see the world, and see that you have a lot of room to grow. Because you're not perfect, because you know you're not the best yet. Learn your skills. For someone with a superiority complex, I think the most important realization is to know that they're not special. However, do not take this the wrong way. You are special. Each one of you is unique. I'm saying you're not special in a way that you should feel humbled by how good the world is. But you shouldn't look down on yourself to the point where you have low self-esteem and you think you can't do anything. I hope this makes sense, and I hope I'm not destroying your self-esteem or something, but this is just for the cases where you think you're too good and you won't listen to anyone's criticism, okay? You have to listen to others even though it will hurt you. You have to listen to criticism, and once you make that uncomfortable shift, only then can you truly grow and truly reach your full potential. But life is a never-ending journey of learning. You'll never actually get there, but then again, it's not about the end. It's all about the process. So that's the LifeSnip of the week. I hope that makes sense more than anything. On a brighter note, I bought a piano keyboard. It should come tomorrow. I'm excited. Maybe I'll show it off next week. So, see you next week. Bye!